so glad I didn't join in on the roast yourself tag, because, like, ugh, honestly, I am not a challenge to drag. Oh shit, what up? We gonna film a video. So, I'm supposed to be writing a book right now, and I have writer's block, so what better way to procrastinate than to tell you about people who actually managed to finish their books? So, my friend Sophie does a little series over on her channel called Book Chat. I thought I'd use a similar thing, but involving ARCs, or advanced reader copies, because I get sent those occasionally, but as I'm so irritated with myself because I can't write, and I want to write, and I can't write, so I figured a nice cash chat to camera would just be the thing to distract myself and maybe make me go, hey, look at all these people that have books out, write your frickin' book. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now. Right, books. Let's do this. I am procrastinating right now. What even is my life? I get sent quite a few e-galleys, which is basically like an e-book version of an advanced reader copy, and I've been sent quite a few in the past month or so, I figured I would tell you a bit about them all. Most of these I have already reviewed, and there'll be a link below to where you can read those if you want to. So the first book I want to tell you about is one that I was really excited to receive, and it was so wonderful to read it. It was really uplifting, and that is a collection of letters called Hello Me, It's You. Hello Me, It's You is a book that is basically just full of letters from people with mental health issues writing to their 16-year-old selves. Reading it made me feel so hopeful, and it was just so wonderful seeing all these people saying to their 16-year-old self, this is how you feel now, this is how you will feel next year, but dear God, I survived, and look at me now. If you are someone that has a mental health issue and you feel like there's no one who can relate to you, I feel like it's a book that would be good for you. And if you're someone that doesn't have a mental health issue but you know people that do, again, great book. Secondly, we have a fiction book, and that is The Cows by Dorno Porter. I really liked Dorno Porter's book Paper Aeroplanes. I thought that was a bloody brilliant book. I really loved it. If you haven't read it, I think you should. It's so good. This book is out now, by the way. You can actually go buy it. I saw it in Asda the other day and had a little bit of a, I reviewed that before it was released. Right, I hate the term chick lit, but this is feminist chick lit. Basically, it is a book about three very different women whose lives kind of interweave, and it deals with a lot of issues like misogyny at work, being slut-shamed on the internet, sort of societal ideas of what being a woman entails and how you're supposed to behave in certain situations because of your gender. It deals with sort of inherent sexism that even women have. It deals with so many different issues, all in a really fast-paced, entertaining way, and it's just wonderful. I don't read an awful lot of, like, women's fiction because I find, like, I can't relate to it. Because all the characters in it are all like, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a good woman is in want of a husband. I didn't get that Jane Austen quote right. It was really refreshing to find a book about women that didn't deal with that. Next up on the list of things I was sent is a book called Windfall by Jennifer E. Smith. Now, I have to try and contain my inner fangirl a bit here because I love Jennifer E. Smith books. They are so cute and fluffy, and there's always, like, a romance, and it's like, oh, the bants, so many bants. Windfall was kind of different. Windfall still had the bants, and it still had a bit of relationship drama, but it was all about a kid who, on the eve of his 18th birthday, is gifted a lottery ticket and wins a phenomenal amount of money. And the story is that he and his friends and his mum and all of that are, like, trying to get their heads around the fact that he is now super rich and super famous and he's only 18. So the story is about, like, how do you deal with that and the challenges that throws up. And also, is it a windfall or is it a curse? Is it lucky that you've won all this money, or is it a terrible thing? It's a really interesting story, actually, and it was so different from other books of hers that I've read, but I really enjoyed it. I quite liked it. It was fun. Next up, we have a book called Things I Should Have Known, or Things I Know, because the cover is, like, the words crossed out of it. I don't know. All I do know is I liked it. So this is the story of a girl whose older sister is autistic, and she decides that she wants to set her sister up with someone so that she won't be so lonely, because she's really worried that her sister is lonely and doesn't socialise enough. So she sets her up with a boy from her special needs school, who it turns out has a brother in her year at school. And guess what? They hate each other. Or do they? Ooh. I don't have very much experience with people who are on the autistic spectrum, but I thought that the book was really well done. I thought the way in which like their behaviours and their fears and their anxieties and things were portrayed was just so good, and the way that people reacted to them seemed very real to me as well. If any of you guys have like more experience than I do, I'd be really interested to know how you felt about the book. So go find it and read it and let me know. I felt like it was good that there were characters on the autistic spectrum in a book. I'd love to read more, so if you've got any ideas, let me know down below. The final e-galley that I have in my possession is a book called The Idea of You. I didn't get on with this very well. I've literally just finished it. So here's the thing, although I keep a note of what I'm reading through Goodreads, and also I do like a monthly roundup of everything that I've read on the blog, link below, all I really get to see when I do that is covers and titles. So I don't really keep note of what genres I'm reading via either of those two things. And one thing I really wanted to do was to read more out of my comfort zone. I wanted to read more non-fiction, I wanted to read more poetry, I wanted to read more adult fiction, because I read an awful lot of YA, and let's be honest, I'm not a teenager anymore. I really shouldn't be reading about high school drama. I should probably also not have so many toys around me. But I wanted to read things that are more like adult. So when I had the opportunity to read The Idea of You, I was like, yes, I'm going to read that because it's adult literature. The thing is though, I'm not the intended audience of this book either, because this is a story about a woman in her 40s who is desperate for a baby. I'm not in my 40s, neither am I desperate for children. And it was all very one-track minded. That was literally the only thing that she wanted, and the story only progressed because of her attempts to have a child, and then meeting her stepdaughter and kind of having a relationship with her, and that was basically the point. And like, it was well written, and there was like nothing objectively wrong with the book. It just really wasn't for me. I feel like it's the sort of thing my mum would want to read, and I feel like it's the sort of thing that would do really well for like a holiday read. Final thing. Not a book that I was sent, a book I actually purchased, but came out very recently. Oh shit, what up? My favourite author's been dead for 70 years, but he's just released a book. So this is new F. Scott Fitzgerald. I love F. Scott Fitzgerald. He is my problematic fave. And he has a new book out. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at the inside of this. Look at that. Basically, Waterstones emailed me and was like, hey, you like F. Scott Fitzgerald? Here's an anthology of previously unpublished stories of his. And I was like, shut up and take my money. So there you go. New things that are out, either now or very soon, for you to enjoy if you like reading. So I'm going to go cry next to the pile of charred remains of the ambitions that I held as a writer, and maybe read some Fitzgerald and cry some more about how much better he is than me. And I will see you on the internet soon. So not with any announcements about my new book, because I can't finish it! Do you know what? Every other YouTuber gets a ghostwriter. Why can't I have one?